Hello boys and girls, welcome to Arts and Crafts at the Library. I'm Miss Susan and I'm really glad you've joined me today. We're going to be making a bookmark in honor of National Library Week, which starts on Sunday. It'll go for the whole week. And so in order to prepare for that, you might want to make a bookmark with me. You'll need some cardstock and some clear contact paper, a little bit of yarn, and I used dried flowers. The way I made my dried flowers was kind of a simple, fast way, as opposed to pressing them under books, which you can do. You can take newspaper or thin cardboard, put your flowers in between there, and then put a bunch of heavy books on top. And then in about a week, check and see how they're doing, and they'll probably be flat and dry. But there's a quick way to do it, which you can do in your microwave. What you'll need is a piece of parchment paper, and you'll want to put your flowers separated apart. So I would take the little leaves off and put your flowers face down if possible inside your parchment paper. And I use leaves too, and I really like the way fern turns out. So you can take the very top tip of your fern and put that in there too. If you have a little bit bigger tiles, ceramic tiles than I have, you can put more, but my tiles are kind of small, so this is all I have room for. You put them in between the parchment paper, and then you're going to need a paper towel, which will collect the moisture when you're microwaving. So you'll take a ceramic tile, a paper towel, and then your parchment paper with the flowers in between. And then you're going to put another paper towel on top of that, and then one last ceramic tile. So that flattens it out, and you put it in the microwave for a minute. And then let Mom and Dad handle this because it gets hot. You'll want to wait and let everything cool down for quite a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so. And then even take a hot pad and let Mom or Dad pull the ceramic tile off. And once you do, you'll find that your paper towel has absorbed a lot of moisture from the flowers. So you'll want to get a new paper towel and put it on top, and you'll even want to replace the one underneath. So once they have a new paper towel, you'll replace the top ceramic tile and microwave for 1 more minute. Then let it cool for 5 or 10 minutes. Don't touch it because the tiles get hot. Then take your hot pad just in case and remove that tile again and the wet paper towel. And then you can open up your parchment paper and you'll see that your flowers have dried and it really locks in the color. I found that it seals in the color and makes them a little more vibrant than when I've pressed them under the books for a week. So it's a really neat technique. You might even do a third, not a third whole minute, but maybe 30 seconds or something. You can just test it and see. If they're a little bit wet still, you can, after the couple of minutes of zapping in the microwave, put them between the newspaper and then under a stack of books for 2 or 3 days, and that will completely dry them out so that they'll be ready for your craft. So that's how you can make some dried flowers fairly quickly. And once you've got them, you'll be ready to make a bookmark. So let's get started. I'll show you how I did it. You'll need a piece of cardstock. You can get different colors or just use white. And I like to put a hole punch in the top, about 1 inch down, about as far as the hole puncher will reach, right there in the middle. And that's going to be for my tassel. You can use a couple of pieces of yarn. They're maybe 8 inches long. I kind of put them together like this and just poke them through that hole. And then I pull through the loop, and there I've got my little tassel. So now I'm going to take my glue stick and just select a few of my flowers and leaves, my fern, and maybe this red flower will show up well on the yellow. And you can put a piece of newspaper. You could clip some newspaper and put it behind the flowers. You could use a piece of magazine, whatever you want to put behind the flowers, or you can just do the flowers like I'm doing now. And once you get them glued on and placed wherever you think they look pretty, I kind of separate them out. Then, once I've got them on my cardstock, you don't need a lot of glue, just a little bit to hold them. And, oh, I think I'm going to use a clover. Whoop. Let me show you. It's like a little 3-leaf shamrock. And maybe one more leaf. That little coleus is pretty. Then it's time to seal them on with the contact paper. So I'm going to peel off the backing. And this is clear contact paper, and I'm going to place it just below that tassel because I don't need to cover up the yarn. And then I'm going to flip it over and wrap that contact paper around to the back side and smooth it out. And then I'm going to cut off the excess and just trim that extra contact paper off the bottom. And there's my bookmark with lots of pretty colors. So I'm ready to read during National Library Week, all next week. Let me show you some books, some fun books about the library. Here's one called Librarian on the Roof by M.G. King, and it's a true story about a woman who was a librarian in Texas and wanted to raise some money for her children's programs and the children's section of the library. She climbed up on the roof of the library and wouldn't come down until the town had collected enough money, and they ended up collecting $40,000, and she ended up buying lots of books and refurbishing the whole children's area of her library. Here's The Midnight Library by Kazuno Kahara, and this one's fun. This has a lot of cute animals that come to read in the library. Well, they come to play, but the librarian gets them to read some books. Lola at the Library is fun. This is by Anna McQuinn, and it's all about how Lola goes to the library every Tuesday and finds lots of great books. Here's Library Lil by Suzanne Williams and illustrated by Stephen Kellogg. Not only are the illustrations great, but the story's really fun because Library Lil is quite a character. She gets everybody in town to start reading, including a motorcycle gang. Here we have Jumping Off Library Shelves, a book of poems by Lee Bennett Hopkins. This is one of my favorite poetry books, and it's perfect for April because April is National Poetry Month. I love the poems in this book because they're all about the magic of libraries and the wonderful discoveries you make when you read books and all the fun places that books can take you. It's about story time and visiting the library and finding your own fun place to read. Here's A Day with Librarians. This is an exciting book. It tells all about what we do every day at the library. This is a nonfiction book and it's written by Jody Shepard. And here's The Library of Congress by Alan Fowler. This tells you the history of the Library of Congress, which is definitely very interesting. The Library of Alexandria is also one of our most ancient libraries. It's no longer in existence, but it was one of the earliest libraries in Egypt, and the whole area became the center of learning. People would come to the Library of Alexandria to learn all kinds of interesting things, not just through books, but through science and exploration. So that's a very interesting book too, by Kelly Trumbull. And My Librarian is a Camel. This one's by Margaret Rurs, and it talks about a library that packs up books on a camel's back, hundreds of books, and they take them to the children way out in the country on a camel. I hope you'll join me at the library, check out some books, and maybe even make a bookmark for National Library Week. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.